Welcome on into a special new edition of The Bump. I'm Megan Morant, he's Matt Camp, he's Ryan Popola, and we just got done celebrating the biggest party of the summer. Of course, we're talking about SummerSlam, and we're here this morning to recap everything for you guys, even though it's getting a little late here. How you guys feeling? You holding up okay?
It's morning.
It's morning. Good morning.
The party's over. This is like the after party of the biggest party of the summer.
I love the way you put it, the after party. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special after party where we saw 1,070 days, the reign of Roman Reigns continues, and it's all thanks to one Jimmy Uso.
I mean, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, and of course the effort of Roman Reigns himself, 1,071 as we sit here now on Sunday morning, but not the way we expected it to go. I know there's a lot to dive into as it relates to that. I kind of understand where Jimmy came from. I'll just start with that right there.
Wow.
The floor is yours.
Jimmy Uso was part of a tag team victory, along with his brother, at Money in the Bank. Who got the pin? It was Jey Uso. It was a team effort to do so. What happens? Jimmy gets absolutely destroyed days later on SmackDown, and Jey took up the cause. But who did he take the cause up for? For his brother, for the family, or for himself? Because this was not just about becoming the next tribal chief. It was about the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And listen, Paul Heyman made this point. Roman Reigns made this point. The fault of this may have been on Jey all to begin with. I get what Jimmy's doing here. I don't know if it's the best business decision for the entire family, for Jey or for Jimmy, but he had some hate in his heart for his own brother, and any semblance of the bloodline has been fractured across the board. Solo might be included in that.
100%. Now, I think the family piece of this is the most interesting. You very well could be right with all of that. Too soon to say for sure, right? Did the elders get to Jimmy Uso? Like, there's a lot of questions that we cannot have answered here in the morning after SummerSlam, right? I think it could be a combination of both things. I'd be very, very curious to hear what Jimmy has to say. Brothers fight. Now, this is an extreme example of this, right? So jealousy is absolutely in play.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think it's too early to say. Again, I'm not doubting that you're right. The elders is interesting. All of that, to me, is in play.
So we look at what the aftermath is from the tribal combat, where we know anything goes as it relates to tribal combat, and we saw Solo and Roman getting into it after Roman accidentally speared Solo. So you look at what would happen next for Solo and Roman, and then you look at the Jey Uso chapter. Obviously, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, things are not going well between the two of them, but then there's the Roman Reigns to all of this, and he's the one who still sits at the head of the table. He is still the tribal chief, and he is still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. What happens next?
If I'm Roman, I'm kind of hey, Jimmy, Jey, you go do your own thing right now. I'll stay out of that. I think he's moved past it. I think he could say he moved past it when it comes to Jey and Jimmy. Now, Solo's a different story, and I think we've seen not only what we saw at SummerSlam, but there's been something for a couple of weeks here. There's been bumps, there's been looks. Jey has planted seeds. Paul Heyman has said things that has made Solo kind of look, wait a minute, where do I stand? I think the more Solo's been involved in this, the more he's feeling himself, the more confident he gets, which is exactly what happened to Jey, which is exactly what happened to Jimmy. And you might not look like Roman Reigns, but when you're associated with someone who's been champion for 1,071 days, you're going to pick up some things along the way. I think that's where Solo is at right now. He's just got to wonder, am I better off with Roman, or is Solo being better solo?
I would never doubt the tribal chief, but I do think there could be, we're going to talk about these folks in a second, so pardon the pun. I think there could be, it could be wise for Roman to do some damage control when it comes to the Solo Sikoa of it all. Roman Reigns is not faring well in the middle portion of this match. It goes out into the crowd. Jey Uso is in firm control. What might get lost here is that Jey Uso had multiple opportunities to win this when things were on an even playing field, and who knows what happens if Solo doesn't get involved, Jimmy doesn't get involved. Ultimately, Roman Reigns is responsible for being undisputed Universal Champion. Point blank, period. However, Solo Sikoa is instrumental in all of these wins, especially tonight, even with the dissension.
And to your point, much different than WrestleMania, when we were all talking about how does Roman continue to do this? How does Roman continue to stay on top? He's looked somewhat beatable his past two outings. He got pinned the last time, and this time it looked like Jey Uso had him.
Right there, that what we just saw was Roman saying, if you beat me, I'll give you this. I'm the one that's going to do it. Not the referee, not Paul Heyman, I'll do it. That's the second time in a few weeks he has acknowledged the idea of losing to Jay. I don't think Roman and Jay were on the same page. I think Jimmy was acting on his own. Roman and Solo had their issues. To your point, I think there's been some vulnerability when it comes to Roman. I'm not going to doubt 1,071 days as champion. However he gets that done, there's a reason he has defended that championship 3 times at WrestleMania and now 3 straight SummerSlams. That's uncharted territory for Roman, but I think he knows why he's been able to do this. He can't be out there by himself.
No.
There's too many people gunning for him. At this point in the reign, I think he knows everybody's looking his way. Now, maybe you let Jimmy and Jay do their thing. But as we saw in this matchup, as we saw on Friday night, very confident Jey Uso. Almost a happy Jey Uso. If I'm Jimmy Uso watching that going, bro, what about me? What's going on here? Like, you can manage the crowd and have them all hyped up, but there should still be revenge in his mind. He did seem to go in, I don't want to say selfishly, but thinking of himself and what this night could bring him. Maybe that affected Jimmy Uso as well.
Well, I think all 3 of us were on the same page with this one. None of us were doubting the tribal chief, but there were a few moments where it looked like Jey Uso may have won this one, and our spy cam captured the 3 of us watching.
1, 2. Oh! Roman has 29999 down.
Leave it to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, 2.999999999, and yet he kicks out to remain on top.
Yeah, I mean, listen, ultimately, there was so many moments like that. You brought up being hype, you brought up Jay getting the crowd. I mean, this, for all intents and purposes, if you strip, you can't, but if you strip the rest of it away, it should have been Jey Uso's night, right? Those moments were there early and they were there often. What Roman does, it's ultimately exactly to my point here. Yeah, I mean, Roman Reigns isn't going to apologize for this, but yeah, Jey Uso had all the momentum on his side multiple times throughout this contest. Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. Matt, I've been looking at you for years and saying the same thing. Ultimately, I do not fault Roman Reigns for having these backups in place, although I also agree with you. I'm not in any way, shape, or form thinking that Roman knew that Jimmy was going to come out tonight. It didn't look like that way to me.
Jimmy acting on his own makes a lot of sense, and I think Jimmy is not going to forget what he went through with Roman Reigns. It was Roman and Solo that put Jimmy on the shelf. There's no doubt about that. I think Jimmy is questioning Jay's motives.
Yeah.
Was he out there for his brother? Was he out there for himself? Was he out there for the elders? These are all questions I think we don't know the answers to, but maybe Jimmy jumped to some conclusions on. That's a whole different story now. The fact that the Usos could be battling after this takes them away from Roman Reigns, and I think Roman's very happy to go, yeah, go fight it out. And he will fan those flames, and Paul Heyman will fan those flames. I don't know what's next for Roman. I think we saw a main event Jey Uso who belonged in the main event of SummerSlam.
You look great.
Who has, much like Jimmy, much like Solo, anybody who's been connected to Roman has gotten better for it. They can go out on their own. Sami Zayn can even talk that way as well, as we've seen with him. He's a tag team champion right now. But I think there has been steps forward in, if you want to call it, the singles career of Jey Uso. But he now has something else to deal with, and once again, it's his own blood.
You bring up an interesting name, and that name is Sami Zayn. Obviously, Sami Zayn has a lot of history with the bloodline. He has a lot of history with both Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. Sami not at SummerSlam today, but he's got to be sitting at home watching this. What do you think Sami takes away?
Can't be thrilled. I mean,
I think Sami was rooting for Jay. I think a lot of people were rooting for Jay because I think a lot of people who have been in that locker room have grown up with Jey Uso, who have grown up with that family and have seen where he's come from and has seen that family. I saw Tamina put just a broken heart out there. There's a lot of people who have believed in Jey Uso. I think Roman Reigns at a time believed in Jey Uso, and Jay's gotten bigger. If you're Sami Zayn, you look at it and go, oh, man, it happened again. Like, there's only so many fractures. And Sami could think of it from a perspective of, look what he's gone through with his different kind of brother in Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and ultimately, to that exact point, whether it's Sami or anyone, to your point, no one can crack the code, right? I mean, it seems oversimplistic to say that at this point, over 1,000 days in, but it's just the point of the matter. No one can crack the code. And you said at WrestleMania it's going to be a member of his own family. It came close, and we're not there yet.
Well, also, let's throw that in. Does Jimmy now stake claim to a title opportunity?
Jimmy technically also beat Roman Reigns.
He also has a win. He wasn't the one that got the pin, but he's got a W in his win column over Roman Reigns in a tag team match. Does Jimmy fight that battle now? That is something to consider here. I think what it's going to come down to is Roman's got to be out there by himself.
Yeah.
That's how someone's going to defeat him. There can't be a Solo Sikoa or an Uso or any member of the family we haven't even seen yet. Who knows? maybe it's Paul Heyman still being out there, but I think it's got to be Roman by himself. And Roman is still great enough to win any of these matches by himself. He's done it before. Ask John Cena about that at SummerSlam a couple years ago. But right now, Roman's still the guy, and there's turmoil around him. If he can avoid that turmoil, this reign continues on and on.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. Well, we made picks ahead of SummerSlam, and I think the three of us were on the same page. Let's take a look at our picks. That's right. All three of us had the Tribal Chief. And that's a good start
for
the evening.
Just smart money. That's all it is.
You know, with my heart, I so desperately wanted to pick Jey
Don't pick with your heart, Megan.
But you can't do that, especially when it comes to 1,071 days. Elsewhere at SummerSlam, Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, proving why she is the toughest. Her knee was brutally injured by Charlotte Flair and Asuka. This is three of the most decorated female athletes that we've had in WWE in one match together. You see there Bianca Belair with the injured knee struggling to get back in the ring. And here we see why she's the toughest.
And this is after, as I said, she was injured. She gets knocked off the apron. Her knee hits the steel steps, or she twisted on the way down. She's out of this one. She had medical personnel taking her down the aisle. She looks back in the ring and says, I'm not letting this happen. Does she go in to just break it up? No. She tries to win this thing right here, not just break up the pin, and she nearly does so. Charlotte able to get that shoulder up in time. That is the grittiness of Bianca Belair, who would, of course, go on to win that championship later on, although it wouldn't last.
It certainly would not last. As soon as Bianca held her hand up in the air to raise the crown as champion, Io Sky's music hits. There goes Io running out with Bayley to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
This was absolutely electric. I mean, it looks like Io and Bayley are racing. That's how fast they're going. This was ingenious. If anyone had seen Io saw where Bianca was at the end of that match, and this is absolutely just go for it.
And right before this, by the way, Bayley on the same page. Bayley knocks out Charlotte and Asuka with the briefcase. Make sure the cash-in happens. Bianca's clearly in bad shape. We saw the moonsault. We see a new WWE Women's Champion. I will say this, I was wrong. We talked to Bayley on the bump. We've talked to her recently, talking about all the turmoil. They put all of this aside. What a moment to see Dakota Kai, a couple of months off of her major injury, out there, and the bookend of Damage Control a year ago being formed, and a year later, they have championship gold. Maybe people thought it would be Bayley, but it is singles championship gold for Io Sky. Congratulations to her.
What a moment, Matt. You mentioned Dakota coming out to her side, Bayley being there, and just 1 year ago, this is when the pieces that are Damage Control came together. Very happy for Io Sky. Congratulations to her. And we caught up with her backstage after becoming the WWE Women's Champion.
I know you guys are celebrating your huge victory, but man, what a full circle moment. It was this time last year at SummerSlam that Damage Control was formed, and now you've got this beautiful piece of hardware. How does it feel?
Oh my gosh, literally briefcase became the gold. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I still feel like a dream.
Yeah. You were very, very smart with your decision too. And I mean,
I have you. I have Dakota.
How proud are you?
Oh my gosh. It's like a whirlwind right now. Are you kidding me? She's champ. You're a champ. You're a champion, right? Look at this gold. Look how it shines.
It looks so good on you. It matches your new gear. Io waited for the right moment, the right opportunity. Full circle 1 year ago on SummerSlam, like you said, we were born, we were created, we were bought into this world, and we confronted Bianca Belair. And that's what Io Sky did tonight, and she became the champion. We had to finish that. We had to finish that story.
Finally! Yeah. And I know this is fresh. You want to go celebrate, but do you have any message? Your target's on your back now, Io. You got a message for anybody that's going to be coming after you?
She just got it! Come on! Get out of here! What?
Hey.
No time!
Oh, okay. Okay, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Gotta hand it to Kayla, always being the professional journalist that she is, trying to get the scoop. She wants to know where Io's head is at after cashing in and becoming the WWE Women's Champion. But I have to bring up the elephant in the room, you guys. for the past several weeks, it didn't seem like Io and Bayley were on the same page. Bayley kept getting in the way. They weren't communicating quite as well. So the fact that Io was able to do this with Bayley by her side and on the same page, we saw Bayley taking the briefcase. Yeah. What does this say about the strength of Damage Control and Io Sky?
I mean, ultimately, Damage Control is doing everything they said they were going to do a year ago, right? The journey to get there maybe wasn't exactly what they expected. Ultimately, you're together that often for a full year. There's going to be some dissension. But to be fair to Bayley, all she has ever said is like, hey, do not believe what I say. Okay, sure, things may look a little rocky, but ultimately, we haven't seen anything other than a united front when it's mattered most, and it mattered absolutely most tonight.
I think the moment last year at SummerSlam, I remember being in that crowd, watching it happen, and they confronted Becky and they confronted Bianca Belair after their matchup, and then what happened? We saw Bayley go after Bianca in the championship over multiple months. They got that win at Clash of the Castle. Didn't get the job done. They become women's tag team champions. They lose those championships. It had been up and down. Dakota goes down with injury, but then Io wins Money in the Bank. Yep. And Bayley was right there. She was handcuffed. She got to watch it happen from a really good standpoint. But she has said, yes, we're going to get it done. Io's going to cash in. I was happy to see this. I genuinely enjoyed this. I'm a huge Io Sky fan going back to her days of Stardom or Boyle Heights or NXT or now here in WWE on SmackDown, been on Raw. We've seen how well they can cooperate together. Something I want to throw in here, though. We have seen Zelina Vega defeat Io Sky a couple times over the last month. Zelina Vega did tweet about that during the show. This is what happens when you're champion. Anybody who's defeated you. Charlotte Flair could probably say that too. You're going to go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I beat the champ.
For sure.
I've done it before. But I think Io's ready for that. Io will welcome those challenges, and they need to stay cohesive. I know Dakota right now still recovering from injury. They need to stay cohesive. Their Money in the Bank cash-in as a group worked. We'll talk about Judgment Day later on because their plan did not work. Damage Control realized we have Asuka, we have Bianca, we have Charlotte to deal with. Yeah. Three of the most decorated superstars in the history of this business. They got on the same page. They got the job done. They may have to stay that way for Io to remain champion.
In this match alone, Bianca becomes a three-time champion, right? Ultimately, a very short reign, but that's what happens. I said to you after this happened, Io, for me, might be the best wrestler in the company. I think there's an argument for it. I think she would have an incredibly impressive, dominant reign by herself. To our point from Roman and everything else we're going to talk about, having backup's never going to be a bad thing, right? Io Sky is incredible. I loved seeing this as well. I can't wait to see what she does, especially with Damage Control now fulfilling the prophecy they set out a year ago.
Well, Matt, yesterday when we were on SmackDown Lowdown together, I set the odds at Io cashing in. It was a fake odds. They're not real. I set them at about plus 300. So that would have been a pretty good
a cash in
payday.
And a successful cash in on that. If I'm Io though now, I look around and I go, ooh, there's Asuka. I think she's going to take on all of this.
Yeah.
There's these title opportunities.
There's Asuka. There's Bianca. There's
Charlotte.
Zelina.
Absolutely. There's Zelina. There's a lot there to look around. There's a lot of fresh matchups. Didn't we ask a question on social media when you were out there about wouldn't Bayley get the first opportunity? She was very instrumental in making that happen.
She said, hey, one thing at a time. I am fascinated to hear about that potential conversation at some point. I mean, Bayley is instrumental in making this happen tonight. I mean, very interesting.
The competitor in Bayley, I think if you asked her privately, would say, yes, I want that opportunity.
Yeah.
The Damage Control member, she might say, we're going to focus on Io right now.
Yeah, I could see it either way, right? Keep it all in the family, handshake, and let's see what happens. Or, I mean, I genuinely do believe, at least on this night, and probably going forward, I think Bayley and especially Dakota, but also Bayley, are very happy for Io Sky in this moment right now.
One wild card we have to think about is what Bayley has going on with Shotzi. Because Bayley needed her hair cut off on Friday Night SmackDown, and that will continue to be an issue. Can that stay separate from Io Sky's championship reign is something we'll have to keep an eye on. Maybe Bayley can handle it on her own, but we'll see. Bayley helped Io. Can Io help Bayley with Shotzi? That's a whole different story.
Yeah, and Shotzi is completely unhinged right now.
She should be.
So lots to look ahead to on that one. Before we move on to the next match, heading into this triple threat, we all made our picks, and let's take a look. Wow. Matt, you had Asuka. I had Charlotte Flair. And Ryan, you had Asuka as well. So none of us even had Io Sky on our radar. All of us
taking... It was plus 300.
We didn't even have Bianca. None of us picked Bianca.
None of us picked Bianca. All of us taking the L for that one. All right, well, elsewhere on SummerSlam, we were all looking forward to the rubber match. That's right, it's Cody against Brock, Part 3. And we knew heading into this match that Cody Rhodes was far from 100% after what we saw Brock Lesnar do to Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw. But that didn't seem to matter. But what was most impressive to me, the comeback we saw from Cody Rhodes. We just talked about Bianca and how tough she was to battle through that knee injury. But what we saw from Cody Rhodes was totally different. Michael Cole begging him to stay down and take the count out. Cody would not do it. He got himself back into this match and walked away with a victory.
There's a stubbornness to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
There was a stubbornness to his father. There is a stubbornness to this family that has hurt them and it has helped them. You cannot keep them down, even when they should stay down. I agree with Michael Cole at times, but you were not going to tell Cody Rhodes, who a year ago stepped into Hell in a Cell with half his body purple, to stay down against Brock Lesnar. And what I thought was interesting here, you saw this over and over again, Ryan. 5 count.
Yeah.
Back in the ring. Didn't milk it to 9. Didn't try to go, I got to recover. Back in at 5. Back in at 6. Brock's saying, stop this. What are you doing? You're making it worse on yourself. We see the F5 through the table, but that's who Cody Rhodes is. And Cody Rhodes being able to battle back through all of that and win the match sends a message to anybody who's going to face Cody in the future. Look what it took for Brock Lesnar. Look what it took for Brock Lesnar in 3 different matches, and I beat Brock Lesnar twice. Saying that at any point in time is ridiculous. He did it twice in about a 4 or 5 month span, and the first time, 3 seconds better. At SummerSlam, to do what Cody did, and he said, we're rolling now. Yep. He felt it. He said in the press conference, this is my final form. This is a Cody Rhodes who needed to do this. He was at literal crossroads of his career. And I think what we saw after the fact was one of the most rare things I've ever seen in WWE.
Matt, I was just about to bring that up. Obviously, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. This moment here is something we will be talking about for decades to come. It's not often you see Brock Lesnar pay the respect to anybody, and shaking the hands of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and embracing him with a hug.
Look at Cody's face.
Yeah, he can't believe
He's
it.
waiting to get beat up again.
I can't think of a time Brock has done this other than Kurt Angle WrestleMania 19, and that was off of a win. I can't, if it's happened, I can't think of a time Brock Lesnar has paid respect to someone like this after a
Brock also
Lesnar.
won that match.
Exactly, that was after a win.
Yeah.
Like, this is after a loss. I can't think of an equivalent to this.
He pointed to him at SummerSlam. Yeah. We're talking about someone who may be Mr. SummerSlam.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Brock has been in there with somebody, he's been in there. Michael called that stat at 16 Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
he's defeated.
great stat.
John Cena, been in there with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, returned against Roman Reigns 2 years ago, had that match with him last year. You name it. He's done it at SummerSlam. Yeah. 21 years ago, he finished the greatest SummerSlam of all time by defeating The Rock handily in his rookie year.
To that exact point, this was SummerSlam 2014 for the first half of this match. John Cena could not crack the code against this Brock Lesnar. This dominant version of Brock Lesnar was what we saw in that match. The most dominant victory in WWE Championship history, one of the most dominant victories in SummerSlam history. Cody Rhodes did something that even John Cena could not figure out to do, which was stop a raging beast. That's what he did tonight. Brock's strategy was amazing, by the way. If you're not in the ring, you can't win the match. Right? Ultimately, that was the strategy. If you're not in the ring, you can't win the match.
I love
Cody
that Michael
figured
Cole said it would be even more of a disappointment and embarrassment for Cody to lose by countout.
Yeah.
Yes,
And Brock would have taken that because, look, I beat the hell out of you. You're out there. I dumped your body out there. I didn't need to pin you. I took you down for a 10 count. But Cody's battle back and battle back. You watch a documentary on Peacock. You watch Becoming Cody Rhodes. This is just part of that story.
Exactly.
This is his entire career. The ups, the downs, where he was at WrestleMania. 2 nights later, Brock Lesnar takes him out. Then he's got to fight Brock Lesnar. He beats him. Then he loses. He's had to battle through all these injuries that have been at the hands of Brock Lesnar. And it ends with respect from Brock Lesnar.
And even smaller full circle moments. Had to have that rough moment in front of his mom a couple weeks ago. His mom was there tonight for the come up, for the upward trajectory. I think you're absolutely right. Final form, we'll see what that means going forward. But again, 2 out of 3 against Brock Lesnar, that just doesn't happen, Megan.
No, it does not happen. And we heard Cody say that Brock made a mistake. He left him breathing, and obviously Cody made him pay for that tonight. You look at Cody Rhodes, and Matt, you talk about this is just part of him becoming Cody Rhodes. We know at WrestleMania he was trying to finish the story against Roman Reigns. The story continues on, and we look ahead to what is next for the American Nightmare. As always, heading into this match, we did our picks. I know I was on the wrong side of history. I selected Brock Lesnar.
We did?
I did. Oh, no.
Hey, Megan, don't doubt yourself.
Oh, hey, my brain remembers it differently than I typed it. We all picked Cody Rhodes.
Cody's across the board.
Cody across the road.
We're believers in Cody. Nothing on Brock at all. By the way, Brock, he can lose. It can happen. Yeah. He will bounce back. If he wants to show up on Raw and beat the hell out of somebody, he'll certainly do that.
Exactly how this started, by the way.
Exactly. He can do that, and you go, oh, yeah, it's Brock Lesnar. Yeah. But to show that respect, I really think that's going to be something we look back on for a very long time.
Yes. Definitely.
I think Cody will think back on that and go, I got a moment with Brock Lesnar that nobody's had.
Singular.
At SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam. Yeah. A show that is synonymous with Brock Lesnar, and the fact that Cody Rhodes was in a much different world the last time he was at SummerSlam with Stephen Amell and Wade Barrett, who was, by the way, getting like an AR of him or whatever it was from Snapchat, and that's where he is. It's just the stories can always go in different directions, whether it was Cody 7-8 years ago to what he did this year to defeating Brock Lesnar twice in 4 months. Their new chapters get added all the time. There's not always storybook endings that happen on a very straight road. Cody's got a lot of stops along the way.
Well, sometimes you have to win by a fast one, and our producer told me in our ear that I did, in fact, pick Brock. But for the record books, it says I picked Cody, so joke's on both of you.
Well, no, that's not really how that works.
Nope, that's how it works. The graphic does not lie. So we are all...
Where's the email?
Graphics have changed.
We're all tied.
Okay.
We're all tied.
All right.
Yep, it's all tied.
I've watched Back to the Future. The graphics can change, but okay, sure.
Okay,
I don't like this.
Speaking of dominant forces in WWE, the Judgment Day, they've been running the show in WWE, and tonight it was Finn Balor of the Judgment Day going against Seth freaking Rollins. 7 years in the making for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Damian Priest has a lot of explaining to do after this one, because we've seen hints of it leading up to SummerSlam of the Judgment Day maybe not being on the same page, but then it was quickly corrected. Tonight, Damian Priest and the Judgment Day got in the way of Finn Balor's opportunity to make right for 7 years and get the World Heavyweight title.
I don't agree with you.
You don't?
I mean, I think Damian Priest was out there to help Finn Balor. You and I have not talked about this yet, so I don't know how you see this. There's a conversation between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Damian Priest is like, I'm trying to use the briefcase to help you win the World Heavyweight title. Yeah. Finn Balor, he's a prideful man. He's a proud man. I totally get it. Ultimately, even past that, when ultimately the briefcase costs Finn the match, literally the briefcase is what costs Finn the match, I still think Damian was trying to help Finn win the title and bring it home to the Judgment Day.
But Finn doesn't want the help.
That doesn't mean Damian wasn't trying to help him.
But right here, this is the moment. He said, this is plan A. He's talking. There is a plan in place here. There's something that they had talked about. Mommy comes out. Dom comes out. They're all out there. Something was the plan. Yeah. There was some kind of plan. It never hit me that Damian was coming to cash in. I think it was a diversion. I think it was a diversion to distract Seth, to let him think that way. Now, could he change his mind in the moment and go, oh, look, there's an opportunity to become World Heavyweight Champion? Sure.
And I think that was on Finn's mind as well.
It did feel like they discussed it. Look, I don't know, because to what you said, there were issues going back to Money in the Bank where Finn felt that Damian was a distraction. Damian said on this very show, look, I was just standing up.
Yeah.
I was just watching it happen. Did he stand up at the wrong time? Sure. But they seem to squash all that. And I give a lot of credit to Rhea Ripley for kind of taking a leadership role and going, hey, we're really good. We can remain really good. They had taken out Kevin Owens. They've taken out Liv Morgan. They took out Seth a couple weeks ago. They took down Sami Zayn. It's gone back and forth, but Judgment Day is better together. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Judgment Day together, at some point in this match, they were on the same page, and Seth freaking Rollins still walked out World Heavyweight Champion.
How much of this does this go to the 7 years factor, right? Because Finn Balor, he can talk to Damian Priest 2 hours before the match and say, hey, here's what we're going to do. You're going to come out with the briefcase and X, Y, and Z, right? Ultimately, when you're in heat of the moment, you have 7 years written on your chest.
Yes.
And Seth Rollins comes out in the gear from SummerSlam. Like, ultimately, I think things may change at that point. I don't know what the conversations were or weren't. All I'm telling you is from what I saw, I think Damian Priest was out there at SummerSlam to help Finn Balor try to become World Heavyweight Champion.
But for Finn Balor, he wants this battle on his own. He walked into that battle 7 years ago on his own, and now he has his own personal issues to resolve with Seth freaking Rollins. Whether it was planned or not, he did not want any other member of the Judgment Day involved. And we actually have our reaction to this victory right here.
Come on. Oh, pedigree. I love it. Oh, I bet. That was awesome. Oh, no. All right, Finn's out of Judgment Day. Oh. Come on, Finn. Come on, Finn.
Oh, that was flush.
Whoa! They got him.
And that was the moment when Finn hit the coup de grace on Seth freaking Rollins. We all thought it was over. And in fact, it was not over. And Matt, I have to bring up what we heard you say while we were watching it. Finn is out of Judgment Day. I think that very well could be
It could. Like, I'm jumping to conclusions. The heat of the moment when I said that. I don't know what he's thinking. I do know, to your point, this has been very personal for him. This is 7 years when Seth was on his own and Finn was on his own. And Finn won the championship that night, became the first ever Universal Champion. He got injured in the match. He has said, despite everything he's done since then, Intercontinental Championships, NXT Championships, that loss still ate at him. He then loses again for the second time to Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. He might look at this and go, what was the plan? Did we mess up the plan? Was the plan to just take the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth by any means necessary? And that could have been enough for Finn. Finn may have said, listen, this is what I want to do. I know this is how I will get over that loss, is I will take that championship from Seth because I know how much it means to him. So when I said that, it felt to me that everything they tried to do didn't work, and then maybe Damian went out on his own and Finn's not happy about it. I think there will be conversations that came up after Money in the Bank that will come up again after what happened at SummerSlam.
Yeah, ultimately, it comes down to this. We don't know what we don't know, right? What were the conversations? Does Finn's mindset change mid-match, to your point? I don't blame Finn Balor if he wants to do this one-on-one with no other involvement after everything he's been through for the last 7 years, especially after that incredibly intense sit-down they had a couple weeks ago. The emotion was there. Again, it was written on his chest how important this was to him tonight. I am just saying, to be fair to Damian Priest, who all he did a couple months ago was stand up out of his chair, and all he seemingly did tonight was try to help Finn Balor become world champion. I am not ready to say Damian Priest is responsible for a massive fracture in the Judgment Day.
There's two things here. Damian Priest put up a picture of himself, just the solo of his face, and just says, bruh. Because I don't know if it was like, we didn't do the right thing, it didn't work out. He never cashed in, though.
No.
Okay? He still has the money. He is still senior Money in the Bank.
And he can cash in on whoever.
Could happen at the end of the night.
He
Could have done it to Roman.
It could happen, like you said, to Roman. It could happen.
Could do it to
Seth.
Dom. I don't think it will. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It
man,
could
don't
happen
even
anywhere, but
Matt, don't you start.
But is Finn going to be able to let this go?
No, definitely not. That is such an interesting point now, because this is not a Judgment Day issue for Finn. It may become that. The arguments may make it worse, but it said 7. He wore his emotions on his arm and his shoulder and his sleeve, or whatever you want to call it. That is something that I don't know where he spins off into now.
Yeah.
Because I think his opportunity, he'll try to get more, but those opportunities are now gone. And I think it's because it was Seth.
Yep.
If there's another World Heavyweight Champion down the road, I think Finn will want that. But it was so personal with Seth because of the road that it sent Finn down. Now I don't know. But here's the thing. Rhea's still Women's World Champion.
Yes, she is.
Dom Mysterio, Dirty Dom, is still the North American champion, has a match against Dragon Lee on Tuesday at NXT with Rey in Dragon Lee's corner and Rhea Ripley there. And Damian Priest still has Money in the Bank. Finn has nothing.
Yeah, well, and I think to your point, I totally agree with you. The problem is we know how Finn Balor can get. He's going to become laser focused on whoever he believes is responsible for his downfall.
And that might be Damian Priest.
Again, whether it was accurate or not, whether that's what Damian Priest was trying to do, if Judgment Day they could patch it up a little bit since Money in the Bank, right? The stopgaps here and there, a Band-Aid here and there, to Matt's point. I don't think Finn Balor is going to have any more interest in stopgaps or Band-Aids. That's a real problem for the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, I think, may ultimately have to be the one to try to figure out how to put that back together. We'll see what happens.
Obviously, a lot to unpack as it relates to the Judgment Day, but Seth freaking Rollins retaining his World Heavyweight Championship. He was the one who came out and said he wanted to be a fighting champion, and he was just able to beat Finn Balor for the second time with the most dominant faction in WWE right now, all at ringside. So hats off to Seth freaking Rollins. And of course, we made our predictions. What do we got? Ooh.
Oh, you got one there.
All right.
Ryan's up.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah. I put it in the email, and it's accurate as to what I put.
It is. Listen.
I believe in the sanctity of the picks, Megan.
I am believing in paying off the graphics guy. How does that sound, right?
Well,
okay.
all
right. All right, Ryan takes the lead in our picks pool, a match that everybody was looking forward to at SummerSlam. Best friends turned foes, former tag team partners Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey met for an MMA rules match. And guys, obviously a lot of emotion heading into this match. I mean, Shayna Baszler, we saw this bring tears to her eyes before it even came about. And then these two women making their entrances. You see it here, just the gear that they put on and how fierce of competitors these two are. They have a ton of history together.
Everything's real to Shayna Baszler. Anytime she steps in the ring, anytime she walks that aisle, it's real. That's how she treats everything. This is deeper than that because of the friendship. We saw those sit-down interviews on Raw. She's done media since then, and you could see how emotional Shayna got. She was on this very show talking about that. I don't think it was a hatred towards Ronda. I don't think it was ever that. It was just, hey, think about what I've done for you. I just want you to understand what I've done for you. Did she work in other things along the way, talking about how their journeys had been different? Yeah, I don't think Shayna ever discouraged Ronda from, I don't want to say a shortcut, but from taking a different path. But it had to get to this point. Did Shayna use this as a way to say, hey, the spotlight should be on me. It shouldn't just be on Ronda. It shouldn't be on, me because of Ronda. She sent the message before this match. She got the job done. There's not a lot of people in MMA or in WWE that could say they have a 100% clean win over Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler now has that.
It's monumental for two reasons. All the stuff you just said, right? Ronda Rousey's a WrestleMania main eventer. She's a multiple-time WWE champion. There's also the part of this that they talked a little bit about on Monday. Shayna Baszler basically helped invent women's MMA. She brought it to the first level of mainstream that people on a lower level, on a groundswell level, came to know about it. It came to be what it was. Ronda Rousey took it to the next level. But Shayna Baszler, for her probably in her entire life, has said, well, I could have done all those things too. It just wasn't at the national stage point yet where it became to be because of Ronda, but also Shayna, I feel like has had to have some level, as she talked about, not resentment, but hey, I could have done all these things. This had a lot of moving pieces for both women tonight. It's a dominant victory for Shayna ultimately. She choked Ronda Rousey out. Very few people can say that. Very few.
Now, Shayna's had a very impressive career, whether it goes back to MMA, you look at her time in NXT, but tonight, getting Ronda Rousey to submit, is this the biggest victory in Shayna Baszler's career?
It's in the conversation, at least. I mean, I think about her time as NXT Women's Champion multiple times there and more days than anyone as the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. She has those victories to her name. She has those accolades. She's got MMA accolades, but this is a personal one. This is not about, I think, your career. It's not about business. This was personal of sending a message. Now, can this turn into more? Sure. If I'm Shayna Baszler, I'm probably saying to Rhea Ripley, hey, did you see what I just did at SummerSlam?
Yep.
Did you see what happened there? I defeated Ronda Rousey in an MMA rules match. Why wouldn't I be in line for a title opportunity? So it depends how now Shayna focuses up after this. Does she just move forward is the question. I think she should. But we'll see if that happens.
Well, we have a good opportunity to find out what is going through Shayna Baszler's mind because our very own Kayla Braxton caught up with Shayna backstage after her massive victory at SummerSlam.
Thanks, guys. Here with Shayna Baszler, who just had a hard-fought victory out there of a former friend, former tag partner, now foe. And you very clearly showed her why WWE is your turf. How good did that feel?
Who's baddest now? No one can say I'm the sidekick anymore. I did exactly what I said. I proved all the points that I was making. I mean, I'm happy with everything.
Well, now, without her in your shadow here in WWE, what else do you hope to accomplish?
Everybody's heads have probably turned in my direction at this point. So everybody better get out of the way.
Now, I do have to ask, though, how are you feeling? That looked a little painful out there.
This is the stuff I live for, man. I feel alive right now.
Well, thank you and congratulations. All right, back to you guys.
Shayna, Shayna's the answer. Who's bad? Shayna Baszler.
She took to Twitter to let the entire WWE universe know who's bad. That is her. One, Shayna Baszler, a massive Twitter reaction from all of this. We just talked about Io Sky. Obviously, she's the new WWE Women's Champion. But after a dominant victory like that from Shayna Baszler, you got to think she has her eyes set on gold in the future as well.
I think that's kind of just what she hinted at. Shayna Baszler did everything she said she was going to do tonight, by the way. She ultimately said, I'm going to make this as dramatic as possible for not just you, Ronda, but her family at large. She did that. I mean, she called her shot. If she wants to call her next shot at Rhea Ripley or whoever it may be, who's going to stop her?
Yeah, she's a Raw superstar. I think Rhea's in her sights, as she should be. But I think that was also a message to everybody else. Not just I'm coming for you. It's you have to watch out for me now because of what I did. And when you have the moniker baddest woman on the planet, when you get defeated, you have that target on your back. Shayna was the one who got that victory. She should be saying who's bad. Everybody, Rhea, you name it, should be worried about Shayna Baszler going forward.
Well, as you look at the men's division, everybody is very worried about who will end. Oh, before we move on to that, we have to look at our picks here.
Oh, we're back even.
Back even. Matt and I got on the board there.
I never doubted Shayna.
I know, it's tough to pick against the baddest woman on the planet.
Very
that
smart
is
there, buddy.
Ronda
Very nice
Rousey,
words.
But
good. Very good move. She might be back on the bump
I've done
soon.
this a long time.
Smart move by Ronda. Never doubted Shayna.
Never
Just
doubted
picked Ronda, that's all.
Well, also, who knows with these email situations here, but it's fine. It's fine.
okay.
3-3-3.
All right, maybe you'll contest it. Are you denying the results?
Nope, we can move on.
No, okay. We will move on to the Intercontinental Championship, where everybody has been wondering who will end the historic reign of Gunther's Intercontinental Championship run. And tonight, Drew McIntyre could not get the job done, but a very impressive battle that we saw out of these two men tonight.
In the middle stages of this match, I said maybe the pressure of this for Gunther, the getting so close to the reign, maybe it's starting to get to him a little because Drew McIntyre was building a lot of offense. Then Gunther kicked out of a Claymore. He then threw Drew off the top rope. He clotheslined him. He powerbombed him. He retained the title. This is just what Gunther does.
I don't think Gunther gets enough credit for his chin.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his resiliency because when we think of Gunther, we think of the punishment that he deals out. He is such an unbelievable fundamental wrestler because he does everything so well and so impactful and so powerful and so precise, but he can dig deep. And when he's been in these opportunities, he can dig deep. He had to do this. There you go. It was a slap contest, and I love it. Gunther vs. Drew is hard-hitting affair. Yeah, we love watching it. Then you see the chess after the fact. Ask Chad Gable from Raw. Ask Gunther himself. Ask Drew McIntyre. But you said something there. You wondered about the pressure of getting to him. You know what we really didn't talk about? This was Gunther's SummerSlam debut.
Yeah.
Okay? He had his WrestleMania debut, also defeated Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match. He doesn't think that way. We brought up the fact of the days, and I said now it's not the honk meter, it's the Gunther gauge we need to be looking at right now because we're coming close.
Yep.
Honky Tonk Man, I saw a picture of him this weekend. I think he knows what's coming. But for Gunther, he doesn't think about this. Whether it's Raw, it's a live event, it's NXT, it's SmackDown, it's SummerSlam, it's WrestleMania. He approaches all of this the same way. Peacock even noting, Peacock knows what's up, getting closer and closer to the record. But I don't think Gunther cares about that record. I think he'll just say, listen, yes, of course I've achieved this. Who's next for me?
It's the next thing on the list.
I go back to Mania, right? He was not happy yet to face two opponents.
No.
And then he said, okay, I'm facing two opponents. How do I take care of this? Drew McIntyre confronts him at Money in the Bank, has taken him out. You dealt with Riddle and Imperium and all that stuff. He focused up and he beat Drew McIntyre. who has been in that spot before. He's a 2-time WWE champion. He has way more experience than Gunther in these high-profile matches, but Gunther doesn't think of things that way, and that's why he's so good.
Gunther has the incredible ability to ignore the noise. He can stay so impeccably focused on the task at hand. Tonight, that was Drew McIntyre, and this is a behemoth of a task. We heard in the kickoff show them talking about this is the largest opponent that Gunther has faced during his Intercontinental Championship run. And look at that move there out of Drew McIntyre. I mean, this was the moment here where Gunther, though, really stole the show. That Claymore, I thought, was about to do it, and Gunther.
What doesn't get talked about enough, ultimately, there's so few people who can manhandle Drew McIntyre the way that Gunther can. It was the same thing with Sheamus. Those lists are very, very short. You almost take it for granted when Gunther is doing those things because he does it, to your point, so incredibly effortlessly. But he literally, early stage of this match, was manhandling Drew McIntyre. It's not a sentence you hear very often.
Gunther always has his match.
Yep.
You don't see him need to adapt to anyone else. He's going to do what he does. It's not a game plan. It's just what he does. He's going to take that game plan. He's going to take his style, and he's going to go right at you. And he's not going to think twice about it. Others might go, well, I have to worry about the chop. I have to avoid this. I have to avoid the power bomb, the last symphony. Gunther's just going to do his thing because it works no matter who he faces. It worked against Chad Gable. Chad getting there 5 minutes. Fantastic job. Gunther still beat him in the end. This is a different type of opponent. To your point, Megan, the biggest opponent he's faced, he did the exact same thing he's always done. He can outpower you if you're smaller. He can also match your power if you're Drew McIntyre.
One other thing I do want to point out, Drew McIntyre going to the top rope at the end of this contest, which ultimately led to his demise, very uncharacteristic. That's points and credit to Gunther to get Drew McIntyre to say, I'm going to try. You and I couldn't even figure out what Drew was going for. It could have been catastrophic if he hit it. Ultimately, he doesn't, and it's catastrophic for Drew. That's the power of Gunther. He gets people off their games because he always stays on his.
He stays out of the drama.
Yep.
Roman Reigns in a lot of drama right now. He's still champion.
Tons of drama.
Gunther stays out of the drama. If there's issues, he addresses them. He tells Ludwig Kaiser, go beat Matt Riddle. He does. We need to go take somebody out. They do.
Yep.
But then it ends there. And he always goes, focus back up. We have things to deal with. I have to defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, as he calls it.
It was a huge week for Imperium. We saw them busy on Monday Night Raw. We saw them busy tonight in the SummerSlam Battle Royal. And then obviously Gunther defending his Intercontinental Championship. And our very own Kayla Braxton caught up with Imperium after their epic night.
All right, here with Gunther and still Intercontinental Champion. And listen, when Drew McIntyre returned, he made his intentions clear. His plan was to dethrone you, to end the most historic Intercontinental Championship reign of the modern era, and tonight he did not get that job done. Yeah. You proved why you are where you are, so what message would you have to send to anybody else who thinks they can get into the ring with you and take it down?
What message I have for everybody else? Well, I'm standing here as the last and only defender of this great sport. I am the man to beat. So everybody on Raw, everybody owns a right on my coattail. Be my guest, get in line, because one thing will never change, and that is the Ring General being the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, real quick before you go, though, we still got to give Drew a little bit. I mean, look at the chest. How's it feeling? I mean, Drew gave you a little souvenir?
I feel perfect. I live for this. That's why I pay my dues out there in that ring for that mat and that sport that is so sacred to me and my boys here. Right. Any other questions?
No, that's it. You know what? You go, enjoy, go celebrate. Thank you. Congratulations.
Let's go.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right, back to you guys.
That's the interview of the year.
Business as usual with Imperium. Matt just talked about it. We just saw it in that interview. Just business. No time for small talk. Just straight to the point. But guys, we got to talk about Drew McIntyre for just a second. He was caught on social media after this match, and his reaction was far from the Drew McIntyre that we are used to seeing. Where does he go after making his return to the ring and then falling to Gunther tonight at SummerSlam?
That's the second time. That's the point here. WrestleMania was the last time we saw Drew McIntyre. Triple threat match. He was the one who was pinned by Gunther. Drew goes away, takes some time off, comes back, looks better than ever. Shows up at Money in the Bank. Huge reaction. Everybody happy to see him. He comes on the bump. A little different than when we've had him on the other 19 times because he was so focused on the task at hand, knowing what it would take to take on Gunther. Gets that match and loses. No Imperium, no Matt Riddle, nobody else around. And if I'm Drew, I go, oh, wait a minute. I usually come back and bounce back.
Yes.
I'm a 2-time WWE champion. When I lost, I got that title back from Randy Orton. Now he comes back, cannot avenge the loss. Now you're probably going, oh, I was at SummerSlam. What happened here? What did I do wrong? How did I mess this up? Did I face someone who's truly better than me? I can understand why Drew's kind of at a loss right now and kind of thinking, this isn't how I written it. I didn't have this in my head. I didn't picture this. This is not on my vision board. What do you do now if you're Drew McIntyre? Is he at a crossroads in his career?
I think so. Frustration only makes sense, right? I would even go, maybe since WrestleMania 37, ultimately in these moments, which at one point the year prior to that, he was thriving in, he hasn't always been able to crack the code. He certainly hasn't been able to crack the code on Gunther. Nobody has. Ultimately, though, WrestleMania and SummerSlam 0-2 against Gunther, even though Sheamus was involved in that first one, that's a tough pill for someone of Drew McIntyre's skill level to swallow. It's a rough night for him, ultimately. I totally get him being at a little bit of a loss, all things considered.
Also, based on what he's done, Gunther's got 2 wins over Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
That's impressive in this reign of his own, which is an unbelievable reign, but 2 wins against Drew McIntyre in the span of less than a year.
All right, let's see our fate. What side of history were you two on heading into the match? We were all on the same page
No
again.
offense to Drew. That's our boy.
No offense to
just
Drew.
acknowledging how good that Gunther has been.
Well, I mean, for these matches, you have to pick with your brain and not with your heart, just like we said in Tribal Combat. We, we all were looking to Jay to pick up the victory, but you got to go where your head is at.
I haven't picked against Roman Reigns in 3.5.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
With Gunther, someone that I won't be picking
Cody, but
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
Someone that I won't be picking against for a very long time. The moment. It lives on because LA Knight picked up a massive victory in front of Ford Field. The entire crowd on their feet screaming, "Let me talk to you," screaming, "Yeah!" This is the LA Knight moment that all of us have been waiting for. He headed into Money in the Bank as the favorite. He headed into the Battle Royal as the favorite. And to see him pick up this victory with the reaction that he's been getting, whether it be on Friday Night SmackDown, whether it be at any premium live event, to see him stand tall tonight, this is what he earned.
This is a night that might be the turning point in LA Knight's career. When you have that crowd behind you, a lot of superstars have had the crowd behind them, and they don't win, or they don't have that moment, or they don't get that championship victory. LA Knight's had this for a while. I think I'd probably say back to February.
Yeah.
Even before a little bit WrestleMania, where we didn't see him. Didn't see him at WrestleMania. And there's been ups and downs in terms of wins and losses, but then he gets this win. And you look at who's in that ring with him, whether it be Omos or Sheamus or other Brawling Brutes or Alpha Academy or AJ Styles or Karrion Kross. There's a lot of really good superstars, big superstars. Omos coming out last, didn't even know he was in the Battle Royal. And LA Knight's got to take it to him. And yeah, he has to battle through that right there. As did everybody in the Battle Royal of this match. Grayson Waller, who has been taking SmackDown by storm. Bronson Reed, not an easy guy to take out.
Karrion Kross, it took almost a dozen WWE superstars to get Omos over the top rope.
Smart strategy, by the way. Or AJ Styles, a little history there with Omos as well. And they go, yeah, let's all figure this out. And I believe LA Knight's going to be the one that kind of puts this literally over the top rope here. And there goes Omos. Detroit does love it. And a smart move for the other competitors as Omos destroys the ring. I don't know if he'll have to get fined for that one. But then you focus back up. It's a Battle Royal, and they're all in there at the same time. But LA Knight getting this victory, and then popping up in a Slim Jim commercial, which is fantastic. Moments and moments now start to build up. But I have read all the Zeets. I have read all the Instagram posts. I've seen it on TikTok. There's a lot of fans of LA Knight. They now have something to hang their hat on with this victory.
There is always just that moment when you can sense that it changed, right? This happens a lot with musicians. Someone's on the come up, and then there's that one award show performance. You go, oh yeah. This is the night where everything changed.
Is
right?
that the night for LA Knight? Did we just watch it happen?
I think so. Matt kind of touched on it. Sheamus, AJ Styles, like the Miz, the amount of world championships alone that were in this battle royal, to be able to best all of these people, then have to figure out how to literally topple Omos, which ultimately he was the one ultimately responsible. They don't do it without LA Knight. The crowd being so behind him, all of that put together, yeah, I think wherever LA Knight is 6-8 months from now, you will say that it really started to take shape at SummerSlam.
And we heard Michael Cole talk about this on Friday Night SmackDown. When you get the reception of someone like LA Knight, when the crowd is behind you, you have to have those performances to back them up. You have to keep giving the crowd something to cheer about. And just look at the reaction from the entrance. Tonight, LA Knight was able to give these people more of a reason to cheer.
I've seen this for the last 5 or 6 months, whether it be Madison Square Garden before SmackDown even starts, or in Puerto Rico, or on SmackDown when he beat Sheamus. And by the way, a tough match where a lot of stuff seemed to go wrong in that match, and he's able to bounce back, get the victory, then step in one day later in front of the biggest crowd he's ever performed in front of and beat all those champions and get the job done. Look, it's not been easy for LA Knight. He has gained this reaction and gained this adoration with a lot of wins and a lot of losses. It's not been this beautiful, perfect record, but when you can feel that momentum and you can build off that and then win a battle royal and then go, I won that.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam Pearce, I won that. Now what do you have for me now?
Yeah.
LA Knight can point to this and go, this was my night. He made the night moves in Detroit. If you like Bob Seger and all that, that's cool. Michael Cole made that reference. Probably old for a lot of you out there, but it will be nighttime on Fridays going forward.
And will then the sun rise with the night?
Oh, wow, that was good. I was just going to say, he channeled the Macho Man tonight.
He did.
What a night for LA Knight. He channeled the freaking Macho Man. That's as cool as it gets.
I never doubted the megastar that is
You're
LA
the biggest
Knight,
fan
but I'm
he
not
has.
sure about the two of you. And we'll take a look at our picks from earlier. LA Knight sweeping the board. And guys, it looks like we are all tied up heading into our final match. To recap, that's right, we saved the best for last. We have Logan Paul against Ricochet. Social media was dying to see the highlights coming on this one, and it did not disappoint. What a way to kick off SummerSlam. What a way to kick off the biggest party of the summer. But Logan Paul, he is a sneaky little cheater, and he came away with a victory. Not the way I would have liked to see anybody pick up a victory.
The highlights were there.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this on SmackDown Lowdown and Raw Talk. The highlights were always going to be there.
Yes.
They've been there for Ricochet and Logan Paul going back to the Royal Rumble. This is about a win.
Yeah.
Who was going to beat the other one? Not, okay, you can go viral, all that. You still got to win a match. And it got personal with Sam, of course, doing the ring announcing. This was pretty mean. Like, there were top rope maneuvers and all that stuff. They beat the hell out of each other, which I can't say I totally expected. We know about that right hand from Logan Paul. It had a little extra on it with the brass knucks. It's got that titanium plate in there. I think about Lex Luger having that and what it did for him. I think about Logan Paul. Logan Paul said, tonight, the most viral match in WWE history. Got a little promotion in for Prime. Got his way down to Texas. That worked out for him there, too. But Logan Paul got a win. That's back-to-back SummerSlams. He's now had a victory. Beat The Miz last year, beats Ricochet, but beat him in a way, sure, underhanded, whatever, but he beat him. And he beat him in a match where he had to survive a lot, Ryan.
Yeah, it's the same thing I said about Shayna. Logan Paul did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wanted Samantha Irvin to say, and the winner of the match is Logan Paul. He didn't care how he got that done, Megan. He just wanted to get it done. With that said, a top rope swinging neck breaker, never seen that before. They did a Spanish fly and they both landed on their feet, never seen that before. It was everything you could have wanted out of this match. Ultimately, what Logan Paul wanted most of all, to Matt's point, was the W. He doesn't care how he got it done, but he got it done.
Well, and to your point on that, obviously Logan Paul is a guy who's rubbed some of the superstars in the WWE locker room the wrong way. But each and every time that Logan Paul is in the ring, whether he wins in a dirty way or not, he proves that he belongs, and I think he did that tonight.
I've said he's belonged for quite some time. I think Roman Reigns would tell you that based on the match they had last year. I think anybody that was in the Royal Rumble with him, I think Seth Rollins would tell you that. He went on the Impulsive podcast and said as such. I think The Miz would tell you that. I think the Mysterios would tell you that. Another one, much like Gunther, who I don't think gets credit, has a pretty good chin, is Logan Paul. He has taken a lot from a lot of great superstars and has battled back. He's gotten injured multiple times. He's come back. He could have called it. He doesn't need to step back in there.
He had a mouse tonight.
He was hurt within the first 2 minutes of that match, battled through and won. This is someone who has the passion for it. And because he can go do all those other things and then come back and be in Money in the Bank and show up at SummerSlam and win, I think that irks people. Because I think there's some jealousy there.
That's a perfect segue, because my big note out of this was that Logan Paul can literally do everything, right? And that was maybe the one final piece because of how physical this was. That was the one thing, for as brutal as the Roman Reigns match was, we expected this to be one thing, and it was somewhat another. Ultimately, this proved he can do everything. He can adapt to anyone's style, which is just crazy considering how long he's been doing this, or lack thereof. The guy's unreal. He's unreal.
Well, speaking of doing just about everything, Logan Paul had more to do tonight, including catch a flight and go watch his brother in a boxing match. But before he left the building, we caught up with him on his way out backstage.
Hey, some dummies at ESPN said I was number 10, best wrestlers under the age of 30. You ignorant idiots. I'm the best wrestler in the industry, and I just proved that. The only person who stands a chance with my in-ring athletic ability is Ricochet, and I just beat his ass. So what y'all say now? Good luck following that. Any WWE wrestler that wants to smoke, catch me in the ring, catch me in the streets.
A big weekend for the Paul brothers. Jake Paul winning his fight as well, so good for Logan that he was able to show up. Bad for Ryan and I, who put money on the other side of the fight.
Well, that was a bad bet on your part. Why would you bet against the Paul brothers? They both just won major matches in the same night across the country, and Logan was there, showed up in his ring gear after winning. I don't know if he had the brass knucks. I don't think Jake needed them. And he went there and watched his brother win. The Paul family
keep doing this.
Is all over the place with all the eyeballs on them, and they both win in the same night.
They fought Roman Reigns and Anderson Silva in a small period of time. They did this in the same night.
And they both won.
Yeah, it's unreal.
That's amazing.
It's unreal is the watchword. They're unreal.
Well, when you look at it from the WWE perspective as well, obviously Logan showing once again he belongs in the ring and he can do it all. But Ricochet himself had a very impressive night as well.
Ricochet has had his viral moments before. At any point in his career, you could probably point to something. I think he has attracted a lot of different fans. I think people who have never seen a Ricochet match before have probably seen something Ricochet has done. And then he had the spotlight on him with Logan Paul. What did Logan Paul need to do to beat him? He needed brass knucks. But Ricochet is going to feel this one. It's going to hurt him. He needs to take this loss. He needs to learn from this loss. It has to fuel him, and he can't be complaining that he got hit with brass knucks. Yes, it happened, but he lost. He probably believes in Logan Paul a lot more than he did when the night started.
Sure. I think Ricochet will bounce back. He's had tough losses before. I think about the match with Brock Lesnar, right? We talked to him right before that, right? And that was this huge moment for him. It did not go anywhere close to the way he expected. This was far more competitive. I think this is a building block for Ricochet. He's had many, many moments this year. To Matt's point, he needs to figure out how to turn those moments into bigger wins, which I think he'll get there on.
All right, well, Logan Paul, please keep my friend Samantha Irving's name out of your mouth from here on out. I know I was on the wrong side of history for one Paul brother, and unfortunately, I was on the wrong side for
Did you get this one, too?
Wait a second.
You don't even know your picks.
We
all tied 6-6-6
one as well, but I will take it. So I guess we are finishing with the tie, so we'll have to settle this off air later tonight and figure out.
I'm gonna go to bed. It's
a
long night, although it feels like there's an asterisk next to this one.
Ryan
and I both have.
You're all but admitting there's an asterisk, but whatever.
Listen,
okay.
I had some deep
It's a nice, even way to start the next run on Wednesday, I think.
On Wednesday,
Good.
Matt,
Go
that
team.
brings us to a great point here. Thank you all for joining us for the after party of the biggest party of the summer, but stay with us this week because, of course, we have another fantastic fantastic edition of WWE's The Bump that's coming up on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Oh boy, the aftermath from SummerSlam. It all awaits us here in the WWE Universe. For my partners, Matt Camp and Ryan Popola, I'm Megan Morant. We'll see you guys next time.